man, sorry. I live in a really cold home. So, welcome back, Skadosh. Joey Moss, Bad Boy Gaming, Kaldheim, my ninjas. This is I think, of the funnest kind of busted, probably going to be banned type of strategy, synergies, yada, yada, yada that's going on. Let's take a look at some of the cards. And man, already the one card I'm talking about that's going to be banned, it's similar to like Fires of Invention, you know, and it can synergize pretty nice with a couple other cards from the set. Just Wizards. Why does Wizards do this? All right, let's start things off. First, we got Immersturm Predator. It's a 4-drop vampire dragon. I don't know how many times we've seen a vampire dragon before. How would that even happen? You ever think about that? You ever just sit there? You know, when was the last time you sat there and just thought, how would a vampire dragon come into existence? Like, what vampire's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to bite this dragon on its neck. What is he, sleeping? Was it a slumbering dragon? Oh, my. Boom! That makes a lot of sense. It was a slumbering dragon. Okay, so a vampire bit a slumbering dragon, and now you have an Immersturm Predator. Vampire dragon. When Immersturm Predator becomes tapped, exile up to one target card from a graveyard, and put a +1/+1 counter on Immersturm Predator. That's cool. Yeah, whenever it becomes tapped. So if you're just attacking with it, or, you know, you tap it for whatever reason you'd want to tap it for, or could tap it for, you know, you get a +1/+1 counter on it. And then sacrifice another creature. Immersturm Predator gains indestructible until end of turn, tap it. So even when you're making it indestructible, you're tapping it, you're still growing it, you know. This would probably be like a top-end finisher or something like that for one of your sacrifice builds, you know. I know there's already a lot of really good sacrifice stuff out there, like the Mayhem Devil and all that. But throw this up in the mix, too. You might have something really deadly. I mean, just making this thing indestructible is really cool. As long as you don't have any flyers on the other side that are going to stop this card from, when it attacks, getting damage through. What a nasty threat. The only downside is there is a bit of exile stuff going on in this standard, more times than past, you know, which it's probably going to mess with that for standard. But there's a lot of other formats that might like this, but I think it could be, we'll see, it could be one of the all-stars in a nice, crazy sacrifice build in standard something. We'll see what happens with it. But I like the card. I like the idea and everything. I think the vampire dragon is pretty cool. I don't see the vampire part. I see the dragon part. Anyway. All right, moving along. Let's just get right into the busted and disgusted stuff. In Search of Greatness. Yeah, this card was spoiled a few days ago, but man. I took a look at it, and I'm like, let me break this down a little bit. I'm not going to get too crazy, okay? But In Search of Greatness is a 2-drop, and it's in green, okay? I think this is one of, like, the best cards from the entire set. Top 5 guaranteed, okay? Potential to be banned as well. We've seen enchantments that do similar things get banned. Fires of Invention was one of them, you know. And this thing, now it's not as good as Fires of Invention, but it's also a lot cheaper than Fires of Invention, you know, to get it going. But there is like a couple downsides, you know. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the highest converted mana cost among other permanents you control without paying its mana cost. If you don't, scry 1. So let's say you could not do that. Well, you get a scry 1. Cool. Downside is, it would have been amazing if, when this comes out, if it didn't say other permanents, if you could do it to itself, if you could use its ability with itself, you know, that'd be great. Because then the very next turn, you're already playing a free 3-drop, you know. But you're not going to, because it cannot be. It has to be another permanent with converted mana cost 1 plus. So that's how it goes. So let's say what you're going to want to do. Now this is just my own little wacky, you know, idea here. Now you're going to want to run, I'm sure, some ramp or something else. You know, probably some protection spells as well in this kind of build. But if you were to go, let's say mono green, which I don't think this card at all is limited to mono green. Here's what you'd want to go with. Asika, God of the Tree. I think this card is just dumb. Absolutely busted. Busted, broken, blech, all right? You can play on your next turn, Asika, God of the Tree. There's your 3-drop right there. It's got Vigilance. It's got even some ramp on it. You can run a bunch of legendary spells with it. Other legendary creatures you control have Vigilance and tap, add 1 mana of any color. Not saying you have to go that route, but at least you can get, some free mana out of this thing. But the big perk for running this thing is the Prismatic Bridge, which just is stupid busted. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library. Until you reveal a creature or planeswalker card, put that card on the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So to get there, it's pretty simple. You can easily just, strategize using this stuff. You play this, turn 2. You play this, turn 3. You hopefully have another one of these Prismatic Bridges somewhere floating around. If you don't have to play the Asika, because what you can play instead of Asika is Dryad of the Issian Grove. That's right. That's like a backup thing. If you can't, if you can't cast your Prismatic Bridge, you need to have something to cast it with, right? So Dryad of the Issian Grove, play additional land on each of your turns, and lands you control are every basic land type in addition to the other types. So then you can easily cast this, and still run like mono green. It's insane, I know. But then your turn 4, what are you going to do? Now, by now, you already have a bunch of other crap out. You could have out your Dryad of Issian Grove at this point in turn 4. You can have out a Sika on turn 4 because you're doing crazy stuff. Toski, Bearer of Secrets. It's a great 4-drop, especially if you have out our friend, the Search of Greatness. Why is that? Because it's a 4-drop. The spell can't be countered, and it's indestructible. And it's got some fun little stuff on there. Bearer of Secrets attacks each combat at Fable. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So that's some card draw like crazy. 5-drops we're looking at. We want just nasty 5-drops. Of course, this is just mono green, okay? Obviously, you would want to take advantage of your Prismatic busted over here. And you can run whatever colors you want, do whatever craziness you want, throw whatever planeswalkers in the deck you want, But you kind of want it to make on curve to go along with your In Search of Greatness, because it's 1+, So you just keep on getting up there, and up there, and up there. So now you're on with this. Turn 4, this is played for free. That's freaking sweet, because you have out your Dryad. Then you get into your, turn 5, and with some ramp, you could probably even do this earlier, turn 4. Elder Gargaroth, Battle Mammoth, these are just 2 I threw out there. Just nasty, really good value cards. I think Gargaroth's pretty good. But, again, even the card draw on Battle Mammoth is there, too. Whenever permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. So if they're able to just blow up whatever, and I'm going to kill this creature, if you're up against black, I don't think black would have a chance against this kind of deck. I think they would just die. That's probably why they put the enchantment removal in black. That 1/2 That's probably the reason for it, because they were printing this card. Not Battle Mammoth, but the other card, Greatness. So, yeah, you do something like this, okay? You're playing stuff for free. Cool. Then you get up into your Vorinclex, Monstrous Raider, and Ugin the Spirit Dragon, your turn 5, turn 6, whatever the case may be. That's stupid. Not saying you're going to get Ugin out right away, but if you have Prismatic out, you can easily get an Ugin. And if you have Vorinclex already down, if you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. So that means Ugin enters with 14 loyalty counters on it when he hits the field. The game is over at that point. But what else you could do is something like with the Great Henge. That way, if you have Ugin out and the Great Henge, the game's over, man. You don't need nothing else. This is all in a mono green shell again, okay? You're able to just continuously draw cards. You have complete control of the freaking board. You can -7 the second this thing comes out. Board wipe all their crap. Board wipe some of your crap as well. Who freaking cares? Because you got Great Henge out and you got Ugin. What the heck are they going to do against that? Probably nothing. They're probably just going to scoop and call it a freaking day. I think that's one of the, it's just so busted, man. And this is just in mono green. I could sit here for an hour, make a video for an hour, and just show you all the crazy stuff, in other colors that would synergize well with this In Search of Greatness card. The card's already at between 10 and 15 bucks on the internet. It's going to be a powerhouse, man. So is that crazy broken prismatic stuff. I had to just throw this out there. I think this card has potential to be banned. The downside is At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell. You have to have that 1 plus the highest converted mana cost among the permanents you control. So that's why I think having a lot of card draw in a deck like what I just described here would really freaking stand out. And just, man, how do they keep up with that? Really is the question. So really, really, really cool. But and you can always scry at the end, So just absolutely busted, crazy, ridiculous stuff there. The Raven's Warning. Okay, this is a cool card too. For 1, create a 1/1 bluebird creature token with flying. You gain 2 life. That's whatever. For Deuce, whenever 1 or more creatures you control with flying deal combat damage to a player this turn, look at that player's hand and draw a card. That's pretty good as well. What's really dumb is the 3rd Saga. You may put a card you own from outside the game on top of your library. And the cool thing, it synergizes great with its second ability because you're looking at your player's hand. You're getting knowledge as to what you want to go get on the turn 3 with your Saga, with your 3rd Saga on this card. That way they have a bunch of creatures out. What do you do? I don't care about stupid creatures. I'm going to go and get myself, now it says you may put a card you own from outside the game on top of your library. We had a similar card that did something, I think it wasn't a fairy or something like that. But, you could go and get a card from outside the game, but it couldn't be a creature or something like that. It had to be like a non-creature, non-land card. This thing doesn't have any limitation. You just get whatever answer you want from your sideboard, or whatever thing that you think can just win you the freaking game that you're able to play, and just boom, it's right on top of your library. We'll see ya. Only downside, maybe they can make you shuffle your library. Who freaking knows, But man, this is too cool. Really cool card. I think this card's very powerful. I think we're seeing a lot of very strong cards now because Commander is really like the #1 format. And because of that, they have to continuously introduce more powerful spells. If you look at the history of Magic, we just keep getting more and more powerful and more powerful. Few exceptions, there's a Saga and stuff like that. Some of the beginning of Magic, some busted cards. But you can see that the overall power level of sets just continuously goes up and up and up. And that's all it's doing, man. So, yeah. Awesome. They can't print cards that are just garbage. No one's going to play them. They're not going to see play anywhere. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles, man. So this is a cool card as well. You got to wait 3 turns, though. Cosmos Elixir. This is basically like a fixer for white card draw. It should just say white card draw, best white card draw. Artifact at the beginning of your end step, draw a card if your life total is greater than your starting life total. Otherwise, you gain 2 life. That card draw in a white life gain build is silly. Expect to see this card getting a lot of play in those kind of builds. And if you're gaining life in white, why else would you play white? Gain life? Maybe for exile effects? I don't know. Maybe enchantments, But wow, really, really cool. It's going to show up in a heck ton of decks as well. But the main focus, I think this is gonna be really amazing for white life gain in historic. That's kind of where I'd love to see this, because man, can't tell you how many times I got my life gain deck going. Everything's freaking fun, got a board wipe, dang it. But my life's really high. Well, you come right back, man, because you're just able to freaking draw a card every turn. You're drawing an additional card every turn. That's awesome. I think this is a great card, Cosmos Elixir. Like I said, this set is just really cool. Here's Haunting Voyage. 6-drop leak. Sorcery, choose a creature type. Return up to 2 creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield. I like that. If this spell was foretold, return all creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield instead. Foretell for 7. The other thing, there's a card out there that makes it all creature types. Everything, your whole deck's all creature types. You can basically mill the crap out of yourself, play something like this, have that card out that makes them all creature types. Bring the sickest, most disgusting freaking board back. I guarantee I'm going to have some fun little meme-ish decks, to play with this card. And just, hey guys, welcome to like 20 creatures, planeswalkers, all on the freaking board at once. Or creatures. Welcome to a whole bunch of creatures on the board. Just boom, right in their face with haste, with that legendary god. Maybe that'll work. I think he has to be, he's only a creature. Okay. But anyway, just stupid. Haunting Voyage, I think is really, really cool, man. I like the card. I like the flavor. I like it a lot, man. It's like, what's that called? That movie? That book, Dante's Inferno or whatever. Kind of reminds me of something like that when he's going through the dead or something. But no, it's just really a Viking ship. Anyway, moving along. We have Tyrite Sanctum, which is kind of interesting. Add a colorless. For 2, tap. Target legendary creature becomes a god in addition to its other types. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. God lives matter. For 4, tap it, sacrifice, earn it. Sanctum, put an indestructible counter on target god. That is cool. Gonna see a bunch of play, baby. I was waiting, like, where are we going to, you know, get these gods indestructible from Kaldheim? What? They're not indestructible? You know, I get it, though, you know, with the lore and everything, but this is gonna make those gods indestructible now. Hooray! So, really cool card, Tyrite Sanctum. Yeah, I expect to see some fun god builds with this. That's all she wrote for today. Just a short one. Go Browns. All right. If you guys enjoyed the video, by all means, leave a thumbs up. And if you really enjoyed it, you know, share it somewhere and all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Joey Moss with Bad Boy Gaming. Get out of here, skittish bags.